Hello and welcome to Starcast from Planet Waves for the weekend of July 30th, 2021. My name's Eric Francis Coppolino, the host of Planet Waves FM and the author of the Planet Waves horoscope, here with a quick look at the weekend's aspects through Monday. All weekend long, the moon will be in the fixed sign Taurus. This is nice and tidy. It entered Taurus at about 4 p.m. or so Eastern Daylight Time on Friday, and it will make its exit from Taurus early on Monday morning. Looks like around 4 a.m. August 2nd, 2021. All times in this podcast are in Eastern Time, whether daylight or standard, wherever we happen to be. And by the way, this podcast is hosted on planetwaves.net. We're now broadcasting out to a diversity of different remote servers here, there, and everywhere. Thank you, Katerina, for that. Okay, so let's look at the moon's trip through the sign Taurus. There's a lot going on in the fixed signs. At least it's a little more exciting and adventurous than what's going on in the cardinal signs, where the moon has been for many, many weekends. And so now we have a little bit of a different tone and feeling for our weekend. So the moon entered Taurus late the afternoon of Friday, July 30th. And in doing so, it made a trine to Mars and will be making a trine to Venus in Virgo in the Earth sign. So that at least provides for a little bit of harmony. The thing with the trine energy, the quality of a trine, is don't take things for granted, and do a little more than you think you have to. Of course, if you feel like just chilling out and not doing so much, a trine is good for that. But the quality of the aspects this weekend is a little bit on the restless side. So let's move on. One of those restless qualities is that Mars has changed signs. Mars doesn't change signs that often. Mars can sometimes take 6 weeks or longer to go through a sign, and it has entered Virgo. Virgo is a mentally focused sign and somewhat restless and detail-oriented sign. And when Mars changes signs, that has a way of rearranging a lot of things, including, who is asserting themselves, who is on what side, who is the protagonist, who is the antagonist, and so forth. And so there's a little reshuffling that happens when we have a new Mars sign, which we do. Mars joins Venus in this sign, and that's that's sexy in a really brainy kind of a way. The next major whistle stop will be Saturday, very early in the morning, 12:47 p.m. Really, we stretch that far? Okay, sure, why not? The last quarter, well, except for the last quarter moon, it was just the full moon a week ago, and now the last quarter moon will be at 9:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Moon in Taurus, square the sun in Leo, and also just ahead of that, square Mercury in Leo. Moon-Mercury squares are often said to be like intuition versus braininess or something. I haven't found that in charts like this, that is to say, just kind of the charts of passing trends, that it's a particularly troublesome aspect, though what we do have is the moon in Taurus square Saturn in Aquarius, and that's at 12:47 p.m., a little bit after noon Eastern Daylight Time, and that aspect can have a little bit of heaviness to it, or the sense of thinking that you should be working when you are not. So I suggest that you make a choice whether you want to take it easy or whether you want to get things done, and make your choice and stick with it. It doesn't really make that big of a difference in the scheme of things. How you feel makes the bigger difference. And so if you want to stick to business, then stick to business. And then if you find that's not working, then change modes and go to the park or go to the beach or do something like that. But the idea here is don't get too hung up on it. Saturn moon aspects can have, as I mentioned, a bit of heaviness to them and a bit of a sensation of guilt. So not really helpful to anything or anyone. Then the moon continues to move along. And now when we say Saturn, we also say Uranus. Saturn and Uranus are in a fairly rare, long-lasting, as in all year lasting, 90-degree aspect. So one of the defining features and one of the kind of underlying, let's say, modalities of tension in the air is the square between Saturn and Uranus. And when the moon passes through that square, the whole thing is highlighted. So the moon passes through the square early in the day on Saturday. That is to say, to, a little bit before 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, which is a little bit before 10 o'clock in California, so fairly early in the day. But then by evening, the moon is conjunct Uranus, and that's the kind of electrifying, potentially, surprise-oriented kind of an aspect. Now, what is interesting, and I haven't really noticed this till now, is that Uranus and a weird little planet called Nessus, not an ordinary planet, not an asteroid, a centaur, fairly long period, and let's say deep-acting type of thing. Asteroids aren't usually that deep-acting or long-lasting. Nessus is both, and it is in Pisces, is in a very close 60-degree aspect to Uranus. And well, I'm not going to say what that's about, but I'm curious to move through the energies all day tomorrow and into the evening and see what that's about. One of my approaches to looking at the minor planets, especially if I'm looking at an aspect that is stumping me a bit, is to live it out and see what's going on, see what bubbles up out of the ethers. And I call this approving, not proving in the sense of ha I'm right, but a proving a little bit like yeast and dough rising, right? It's just it's a time of seeing what emerges from what the Hindus call the Rita, the all that there is. So that puts the moon at the midpoint of Taurus tomorrow night. It is also trying Venus a little bit ahead of that, and we are moving toward, what day does this actually occur? 11? 9. So during the day on Sunday is the conjunction of the Sun and Mercury. Now, the Sun-Mercury conjunction happens twice in each Mercury cycle. Happens during Mercury retrograde, which is the midpoint of Mercury retrograde. Then it happens during Mercury direct, which is the midpoint of Mercury direct. So as of Sunday, we're equally far away from the last Mercury retrograde and the next Mercury retrograde, though I will say that the past couple of days, Mercury has felt very retrograde. It has had that Murphy's Law feeling. Everything takes longer than you think. If anything can go wrong, it will. Of course, more things can always go wrong, but nonetheless, we've had that sensation. And so I have seen positive developments generally. I don't like to usually call aspects positive or negative. It's not that I don't want them to be positive or negative, but rather if you brand them a certain way, they have a way of throwing you a curve or kind of creating a blind spot. But still, I've seen all kinds of interesting developments that would certainly be viewed as constructive by most people, emerging during the what's called the exterior or superior alignment of Mercury and the Sun. During Mercury retrograde, Mercury passes between the Earth and the Sun. When the conjunction occurs, when Mercury is direct, Mercury is way to one side of the Sun, the Earth is on the other side of the Sun, and that is the situation that we are in now. Finally, very early on Monday morning, the late Taurus moon squares Jupiter late in Aquarius. About an hour before it enters the new sign, which is Gemini. First thing it does in Gemini is make a conjunction to Ceres. One brief comment, and I said a lot more about this on Wednesday. We are now under radically new conditions, or let's say a return to some fairly extreme conditions associated with having both Jupiter and Saturn in the sign Aquarius. And this is a lot of social pressure. It is being turned up to 11, and I'm here to tell you what I've always told you in various different ways, but never so relevant as today. Don't fall for it. There's a new Planet Waves FM going up, or that went up late on Friday night, usually by about 10 o'clock. That's accessible at planetwaves.net website. Just click the Planet Waves FM tab, and I will now leave you with a little music from the Planet Waves ambient ensemble Vision Quest. Thanks for listening, and stay in touch.